guys, the Firebird is here. So, issue 7 of the Skybound comics is out already, and this video will in fact contain spoilers if you haven't read them already. I know I haven't exactly reviewed all the other comic issues before one by one, but I did one huge review where I basically summarized them and went over them a bit without spoilers. So if you want my thoughts on the comics overall so far, go check that video out. If you guys want, I can even do videos breaking down the individual comics and stuff like that, but for now we're gonna be tackling issue number 7, which is the newest one that came out. And oh boy, that cover, it's already up to a great start. The last issue, the Autobots invaded the Ark, they kicked the Decepticons out, Optimus Prime basically beat the shit out of Devastator, Spike's father sacrificed himself in order to power up the Matrix and give Optimus Prime a second win, Cliffjumper holds Starscream at gunpoint and he has the chance to kill him but decides not to at the end, which causes Starscream to almost kill him and Carly, something that Carly resents Cliffjumper for. But eventually the Autobots win, they kicked the Decepticons out of the Ark, and the last issue ended with Spike being woken up from his coma. All caught up? Good. So issue number 7 opens up on Cybertron, which this is the first time we're seeing Cybertron directly in this comic universe, and I mean, from what little we've seen of it, it looks really cool. It does remind me a lot of like the old Generation 2, Generation 1 comics. In here we follow Elita 1, Cub, Huffer, and Warpath, who are trying to reach a Citadel for whatever reason, which suspiciously enough looks an awful lot like Shockwave. Huh. Unfortunately, things don't go well, and Huffer is the first one to get gunned down. And you know what? I know that they kind of changed the art style for this new arc of the comics, but even then, I'm glad that they're still keeping the brutality of the previous arc. And seeing Huffer like this, it's honestly, it looks really painful, and you do see it. Warpath and Cub don't fare any much better, and it's left ambiguous whether they survived or not. Elita 1 makes it into the Citadel, and there she finds what it appears to be Ultra Magnus. And I'm saying what it appears to be because, Jesus, look at him. He's just down to his bare skeleton. And you can tell by sort of like looking at the helmet, it does look very Ultra Magnus-esque. I could be wrong about this, but you can tell that they've been torturing this guy for quite a bit. I feel like this is something that's gonna get answered later down the line. We then cut back to a USS Destroyer, and apparently they got informed of the current whereabouts of the Decepticons, meaning that we're probably gonna get some human v Decepticon action very soon. And speaking of the Decepticons, we then cut back to them, and Starscream, who likes abusing cassettes in this continuity for some reason, I guess my dude's just racist this time around, throws Rumble to the side after he mentions that if they had Megatron along, they could have won the war by now. However, Soundwave has had enough of Starscream constantly abusing his cassettes that he challenges Starscream to Mortal Kombat. Soundwave and Starscream fight each other for leadership of the Decepticons, and Soundwave actually ends up winning in a fight that's very cathartic, with Laserbeak even ripping out one of Starscream's optics. Eventually the fight ends with Soundwave basically taking a huge chunk out of Starscream, using it to try and repair Ravage, while letting Starscream fall to the lava. We don't exactly know if Starscream's dead by this point. I highly doubt it. I mean, it's hard to say because, I mean, I feel like there's still a lot they could do with Starscream. He's one of those characters you just don't get rid of. But then again, this is the same kind of continuity that got rid of Bumblebee pretty early on. So at this point, I think anything's fair game. And at the same time, we have seen characters take a huge beating throughout several issues and they're still able to live. So, you know, for now, Starscream's status is unknown. So then Soundwave declares himself the leader of the Decepticons and everyone cheers, which honestly that's kind of cool. I don't think there's many continuities out there with Soundwave just straight up takes leadership after Megatron's gone, so I'm definitely interested to see how Soundwave handles the position of leadership. I think he'll definitely do a better job than Starscream, and that might be trouble for our Autobots, but I guess only time will tell. We then call back to the Autobots. Just outside the Ark, Carly's practicing with an assault rifle. She still wants revenge against Starscream after killing her father in issue 1. RC joins her and tries to impart some wisdom that revenge isn't everything, and that she shouldn't let her anger consume her. We actually get some backstory for RC, and apparently it was Ultra Magnus the one who saved her and trained her to be the warrior she is nowadays. RC also says that she was partly responsible for getting Ultra Magnus killed, but we do see what it appears to be Ultra Magnus at the beginning, so it's hard to say what Ultra Magnus' status is right now in the universe. But I'm guessing that this is something that's gonna be explored as the arc goes on. And apparently Carly's still really mad at Cliffjumper for letting Starscream go. In fact, fact, she hasn't talked to him ever since the incident. But Carly's not the only one that's going through stuff. We then cut back to Spike with Wiki, who is still healing from his injuries. He doesn't seem to blame Optimus, but he just needs some time alone. Ratchet does his best to try and reassure Optimus that Spike just needs time and that what Sparky did was his choice. And just as they're driving, Optimus gets what I can only describe as a vision, where we can see him holding on to a baby. And look, I'm gonna go on a wild tangent and say that I think these are Sparky's memories. We do know that at the end of the day, the Matrix is not only like a thing that gives you a power-up, but it connects to the wisdom of everyone who once wielded it. And since Sparky kind of merged with the Matrix, it kind of stands to reason that maybe Optimus can also deep dive into some of his memories, intentionally or unintentionally. Part of me wonders if Optimus is gonna end up adopting Sparky, kind of like how they did in Victory with that one human. Calling back to the Autobots once again, we see that they're having issues trying to rebuild themselves and even bring back more of their own back online. And it also appears that Skywarp is not as dead as we thought. If you guys remember, I think it was back on issue 4, Starscream basically bisected Skywarp to use him as a way to, you know, power up Teletran 1 and be able to reawaken some more Decepticons and build the Constructicons from scratch. But in here, it looks like that he's still somewhat alive, since he's able to talk and stuff, but it doesn't look like he can do much of anything else. Wilczek says that he in fact can restore the rest of the Autobots, it's just gonna take time. Optimus Prime tells him to do the best he can to hurry up, and in the meantime, they're gonna go hunting for the Decepticons. Wilczek tells Prime that they're gonna need a way to find them, something to get them a bird's eye view. And Optimus proclaims that they have a plan for that. And in there, we cut to what it appears to be some random storage room in the Ark, and we see what it appears to be the remains of Jetfire. Remember, Jetfire died in the first issue? Spoilers. I mean, I did say it at the beginning. If you're still here and you got surprised by that, it's your fault. And the issue ends with Optimus proclaiming that they're gonna go after the Decepticons next. And that's pretty much it for issue 7. So overall, issue 7 kind of picks off where issue 6 ended. If you guys don't know, issue 6 was the ending of the first arc. I don't think it has an official name. We'll call it the Arrival to Earth arc, for a lack of a better term. Now we're starting a new arc, which apparently is going to deal with Elita 1, Ultra Magnus, and like the aftermath, the fallout of the events of the first arc, with Starscream, you know, being ousted for the Decepticons, Soundwave taking charge. So it looks like this arc is setting up for a very, you know, action-heavy center story. I'm not entirely sure as to where we're going next with the story, but you know what, I'm all here for it. As for this issue, it's okay. It's definitely not my favorite. It does set up a mystery, and I do like the way it starts with like the war on Cybertron and just showing how brutal things are there by just having Warpath and a few other Autobots seemingly killed. And I say it seemingly because we've seen plenty of Autobots, you know, take some very nasty shots and still seemingly be alive. So maybe it's too early to say that they're outright dead. Maybe. Something that I've been seeing a lot in the fandom that people were really happy about is Starscream finally getting his comeuppance. Ever since issue 1, he's always been very mean towards the other Decepticons and kind of a power-hungry maniac that goes around, you know, kicking puppies. I mean, I know they're not really puppies, but you get the point. So seeing all the Decepticons just have enough of Starscream and like gang up on him was honestly great. I still don't think he's dead, and I think we'll see him again soon, because I mean, they're setting up the fact that maybe Carly and Cliffjumper are the ones that are gonna finish him off. And speaking of Carly, I do like that she's still angry at Cliffjumper. It gives some more layers to her character. And also, it could be because of the art style change, but I kind of like how the new artist kind of draws her, because she looks like she's going through some stuff. Like, I see this image and you can just see like the edginess on her. RC's backstory and everything is actually pretty cool. I do like the fact that Ultra Magnus was a mentor to her at one point. I think this is something that hasn't been done before in the Transformers continuity. So I am curious to see if they're gonna bring Ultra Magnus back, you know, and RC is gonna have some really interesting dynamics with him. Part of me kind of wishes we saw more of Spike's reaction to the news of his dad dying. I mean, we probably get an idea as to, you know, how he's feeling, but I kind of wish we linger a bit longer with him, because this whole moment in the spotlight in this comic issue only lasts like 4 panels. The part that probably intrigues me the most is like the moment where Optimus Prime gets a flashbacks to what I think it's a baby Spike. And the reason why I think it's Spike is because if you look at his head, you can see that he does have some of his hair spiked up, no pun intended, which in issue 2, Spike said to Optimus that the reason why he was named Spike is because, well, his hair used to spiked up when he was a a kid, so this kind of matches. So I do think that Optimus is viewing into the memories of Sparky here, and I feel like there's gonna be a big plot point going forward. Also, I am very interested to see what they're gonna do with Jetfire's corpse. Like, I think maybe they could revive him, and I say maybe because we're still not entirely sure how death works in this universe. I mean, at least compared to Skywarp, he does seem to be in a much better shape. But I think two things are gonna happen. Either A, they just restore Jetfire and he helps the Autobots, which I kinda hope is the case because I would like to see some Jetfire action. B, they're gonna take some of Jetfire's parts and Optimus is gonna upgrade himself with the ability to fly, like a nice callback to Revenge of the Fallen. And so far the comic has been doing that a lot lately, paying a lot of homage to the movie, so I could totally see them doing that. Will it be kind of macabre? I mean, yeah, but then again, Optimus Prime is wearing Megatron's arm, so it's probably fine. Maybe. Or C, they take some of his parts and just make a small drone that they could use to monitor the skies and try and pinpoint the Decepticons' locations. So be sure to tell me in the comments down below which option you think they're gonna go with. Overall, I do like that in this chapter, while it was less action focused, we did get plenty of character moments that are setting up stuff for the future. I know some people might be taken aback a bit by it, because like, I mean, I feel like the Transformers comics have been action packed since the start, and while this does have some action, I think Starscream's whooping is probably the highlight of the whole chapter. I do think that some people are gonna be a tad bit disappointed with the pacing for this chapter, but you know, in stories, it's always important to, you know, give your characters some time to breathe. It's not my favorite by any means, but it does have some very nice character moments that I genuinely do love. So if I were to give it a score, I would probably give it 7.5 out of 10. It's not bad, it's actually pretty good, it's decent. Like, so far there hasn't been an issue that I just outright hated. But out of all the issues, I think this one and maybe issue 2 are amongst my least favorites. So this issue has some brand new cover variations and I want to rate them all real quickly. First one, I actually really like the first one, 9 out of 10. The range Starscream is just the range. I actually really love cover B. It's very simple, but seeing all the Autobots standing on top of the Arc Triumphant, it's honestly very cool to see. I give this one a 10 out of 10. Cover C is probably more in line with the events of the comic, and I really do like the art style for it. I'm gonna give this one a 9 out of 10. Cover D is also really good. It's very simple, again, but I do love the shading, especially for Soundwave there. Gonna give this one an 8 out of 10. Cover E is very action-packed. I love this one. I don't like the way RC is coloring here too much, just my own personal opinion. But other than that, I think this one's okay. I give it a 7 out of 10. And cover F is like almost like a G1 classic style cover with RC and Ultra Magnus. It's nice to get some Ultra Magnus action, and oh my god, he's actually firing his rockets for once. I think it's okay. I'm gonna give it a 7 out of 10. So something I'm gonna do towards the end of these reviews is just talk about the characters and which ones are alive and which ones are dead. Since this is the first issue I'm reviewing, I'm just gonna do a summary of everyone's statuses in the world so far. So Optimus Prime's alive, Prowl's still in stasis, Ratchet's alive, Bumblebee's dead, Cliffjumper's alive, Wheeljack's alive, sort of, Windcharger's in stasis, Jazz is alive, Hound's also in stasis, we see his arm in issue 1. Jetfire is currently dead, but he might come back next issue. Beachcomber is unknown, Roller's alive, Brawn is in stasis, Grapple or Inferno is also in stasis, we don't know who they are just yet, Ironhide also in stasis, Sideswipe or Mirage also in stasis, Blaster is currently unknown, Perceptor's also unknown, Warpath's dead, Huffer's dead, Cop is dead, Elita 1's alive, Ultra Magnus unknown, and as for our Decepticons, Starscream is currently unknown, Scavenger's alive, Scrapper's alive, Soundwhip's alive, Rumble alive, Thundercracker's also alive, Mixmaster's alive, Laserbeak's also alive, Hook's alive, Longhaul's alive, Bonecrusher's alive, Skywarp is unknown? Alive? I don't know how we even classify Skywarp. Ravage is alive, Reflector's dead, Rumble is currently unknown, and we know Megatron's currently alive and so is Shockwave. So that's our current cast for the Energon universe, so far at least. But yeah guys, overall a pretty good chapter for Skybound Comics. It wasn't my favorite of the bunch so far, it was okay, it's setting stuff up. I'm sure that the next chapter will build up on what issue 7 set up and it will be great. Again, having breaks in between the stories is always necessary, okay? It can't be constant action 24/7, otherwise it gets boring and stale pretty quickly. So I understand this decision. Still, a lot happened and I want to hear from you guys now. What part of this comic was your favorite? How do you think Soundwave is gonna handle being the leader of the Decepticons? What are they gonna do with Jetfire's corpse? And where do you think the story is going next? There's a bunch of things you could say and a bunch of speculation and theories I've seen floating around. So if you have one of your own, I'd love to hear it in the comments down below. But yeah guys, that's gonna be it for this video. We'll have to wait until next month for issue 8, but hey, at least we got something to look forward to. So yeah. Anyways guys, that's it for this video. Hopefully you all enjoy. As always, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Do all that annoying YouTuber stuff that the algorithm likes so much. And I will see you guys in the next video. Stay safe, guys. Anyways guys, before we go, shout out to our super incredible Patreons and channel members. Scout, James Newbold, Crawley666, TF Cypher, Legend of Soup, King Sparta, Crazy T-Rex, Rhino64 Studios, Wenso, Inferno65, Super Sailors Former Hedgehogs, Moriarty, Xavier.God, Stitch Productions, Drakey Horror 45, Scrub Lordo, and Predaking Hunter Plays. And also our channel members, Scrub Lordo, Obstination Reviews, TF Cypher, Laser Sin, The Crazy T-Rex, and Lord Skywarp. And Surprise Cheetor. Thank you guys for your support, it's much appreciated. If you become a channel member or a patron, you get access to exclusive videos I haven't released yet. You get to collab with me in some of my videos if you so choose to, and access to channel exclusive emojis, and a bunch of other stuff. You also get a shout out to your channel in the description down below, so be sure to check out those guys, as a lot of them are up and coming YouTubers who need all the help they can get. But keep in mind this is entirely optional, because freedom is the right of all sentient beings. Thank you guys for your support, it's much appreciated, and I'll see you all in the next video. Bye guys.